Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Friday Night Motorsport at the GSRC. Tonight, we are going to the Temple of Speed, Monza, buried deep in Italy. I'm Lee Banks. Alongside me is Joe Baldwin, and we'll be bringing you round 8 of the Disruptive Labs GTE Championship. Those of you that are up to date with your iRacing news will know that there has been a big change to the GTE format. It got a lot of love in the recent update, and that means that the cars are handling a bit different. There is an all-new model, so we have opened up the cars tonight. Any driver can change their car with no penalty to their points to help people adapt to the change in how the cars behave. We also have got perfect conditions tonight. Travis has put the temperature all the way down, so the times we're getting around Monza should be absolutely spectacular.
So
we're gonna...
Oh,
go ahead, Drew.
Sorry, yeah, good evening, everyone. So what we can do, we'll have a look. I didn't round out the championship standings at the end of... Oh, that's not what I want. I want that one there. So there's our championship standings, Liam.
Yeah, so as you can see, Stephen Bull is at the lead of those standings. I don't believe drop rounds have taken it into effect yet, have they?
Yeah, they have, yep.
They have, yep. So this is an accurate representation. You can see Stephen Bull has got a absolutely commanding lead. He has put his foot on the front of the championship. He has not let go at any single point, and he doesn't look like he's going to let go tonight. Brendan Grosh, his closest challenger, is 100 points back, but the battle for the podium positions is quite tight. So Grosh has got a 32-point lead over Liam Haycock, who in turn has a 33-point lead over Paul Wood, who is only 16 ahead of Adam Lavis. So anyone down to Smitke might just scrape into it, but certainly upwards of Smitke, those 5 drivers are all in the hunt for the podium spots. And now, quickly, before we get into the race proper, we're going to have a look at what the car will be for the MtnMen on Saturday night. Go ahead and spin the wheel, Joe.
Here we go. Unfortunately, I haven't actually got to do one this season, but tomorrow night is BMW, the M2 Single Mate Series. Blast around there. We'll have that one set up. That car's a lot of fun. Always puts on close racing, a bit faster than your GR86s and whatnot. So yeah, it should be make for a good run, and I believe they've been getting pretty good numbers. So yeah, it should be one to get around.
Yeah, so get around that tomorrow night after you finish watching the F1, if that is on your list of things to do. But on Stephen Bull's list of things to do is to win for pole position, because that is where he will start this race. He will have Aiden Lufray alongside him, and a gap half a second in qualifying. Bull absolutely whipping the field there. Slades in third with Grosh alongside him. Then it's Smitke and Adams on the third row with Glasspool and Lavis on the fourth. Then Haycock in as a party round out the top 10. In 11th spot is Harris with Hollingworth in 12th. Mooring and Zuno are on the 7th row. Good to see Zuno back behind the wheel, even though he has got a broken finger. Nick Wood is in 15th with Golan alongside him. Then we've got Proctor in 17th. Hayne in 18th, David Hayne, that is. Paul Wood in 19th, and Andrew Neal in 20th. In 21st is Sikas with Gander alongside him. Then on the 12th row are Michael Hodgkinson with Rollo and Hansen on the 13th. Then we have Sharp and Matson in 27th and 28th, with Zamora and Lipsky at the back of the field. Dylan Walker and Daniel Lewis are also there. However, they did not set a time in qualifying, and I do not see them in the server. I believe the last driver in the server is Eduardo Zamora, and he is starting in 28th because I believe Pete Matson has not taken the field. These are your conditions for tonight. Confirming what I was saying, temperatures have been whacked all the way down. These cars are going to have as much grip as they ever have around Monza. Just again, it was a decision by Travis, who runs the series, to try and make things a little bit easier for those drivers that are still trying to get to grips with the new handling model.
Yeah, so the track conditions and the new car. Now, one of the things I've already noticed tonight, Liam, is one of our protagonists in the championship, Liam Haycock. He's been going gangbusters the last couple of weeks, and what he hasn't done tonight is a very good qualifying. Here he is back in 8th position. So he's also in the Fjord, as I've been calling it all season, rather than the Chevrolet that he has been running up to now. So he may be ruining the decision to jump camps for tonight. He probably wished he was still in his Chev. But nonetheless, we're going to find out fairly shortly how he's going to get on.
Yeah, we're going to find out right about now because the race is underway. Stephen Ball gets them up to full pace and they're going 3 wide down the long start-finish straight. That is Grosh, Lufway and Jake Slade all battling for second position. Slade pulls in behind quite wisely. Lufway and Grosh will contest it through T1. It is Lufway who wins out ahead in his Beamer to take second place, well, to defend second place from Grosh, who was up 1 position. He started 4th place, so he got an absolutely fantastic start. And I can see there is carnage in the background. Josh Juno, one of the cars off track there, as is Nick Wood, as is Adam Proctor. And that's another one caught up in that. It's like a graveyard of cars down there at the moment. Something has gone horribly wrong into the opening chicane. And it is the limping wounded there. And I just saw another burst of smoke in the background. So I believe this has been quite an eventful first lap. That's Rodney Gollan, who seems to have come unstuck. He's falling down the field. Can't see there if he's got damage or if he's just recovering still. And that's Mav gone around and he's sent somebody else around with him.
Gander, I think. No.
Murring. Wayne Murring, I believe, in the Ferrari. Yeah, there's confirmation on your screens. So many drivers getting caught up in the opening lap around Monza, which is a thing that can happen at Monza, such as the layout of the track. Of course, there's another one off in the background. I believe that, I thought that was Travis has a party, but I don't believe it is. But somebody else hit the wall in the background there. Too many incidents for us to keep track of here in the commentary booth. I hope you're doing a better job at home keeping track of them, because it has been utter chaos on this opening lap. And that is what happens when you have a low downforce circuit and new cars. These cars have got as much grip as they've ever had around Monza. But if you're setting up for Monza right, you're not giving yourself much grip because you want to be as slippery as you can be in a straight line. And that is quite a difference in these cars. We saw some comments in the Discord beforehand saying, wow, the handling difference between the base setup and low downforce is quite extreme. And I think it's catching out some of these drivers, particularly on the cold tyres at the start of the race, as we saw. I believe it might have been Lufway cutting the chicane. And there's somebody else cutting the chicane. That is Travis as a party, getting it all wrong. We're taking the safe option and coming through, and then letting Russell Gander through for good measure.
Let's see if we can unpick what happened on lap 1. I've got a lot of red here to look at.
Yeah, let's have a look what happened here. Hopefully it stays.
Oh, he tapped.
So he's been spun mid-corner. And then everyone's just diving to avoid him. Not as much chaos as I expected, honestly. Nathan Michael cuts right through, goes around the bollards, and then there's more contact behind the scenes with Sharp. There's Wood getting involved as well. So it's 3 or 4 separate incidents all around that initial chicane.
This was what happened with Mooring. Oh no, that was a bit later. What happened with Mav? Oh, so he's got up on the curb, got the wobbles up. Oh, awkward one for Mav.
Yeah, so easily done then. You'll feel horrible about that. He's a very clean racer, is Lavis.
Car updates, iRacing updates, new season coming. One of the things that doesn't change is Stephen Ball winning races on a Friday night, though.
Yeah, but thankfully for our sake, at the moment, the lead is only 1.2 seconds.
Yes.
As you can see, there's less time to overtake him than normal because this is a sprint round. It is only a 45-minute race compared to the 60-minute or 90-minute races we have for the Enduros. So this will be a shorter race than these drivers are used to. So less time to try catch him. Not that more time has helped. Generally, that lead has just continued to extend. But at the moment, Aiden Lithwaite in his BMW is keeping him quite honest. That gap down to a second now, which in if this was F1 would be around the time you get, well, you used to get quite excited with DRS, but doesn't exist anymore. So not quite so special this season. And I must say, Slade, Grosh, Adams all keeping close company with Lithwaite. That is a real train that Lithwaite is leading from second down to fifth. And then there was a gap of 2.7 seconds to the Chevrolet of Matt Smitke. Let's watch Slady here. What's he going to do? Certainly in the position to make a move. He wants to. Yes, he dives to the inside. No, he thinks better of it. Tucks in behind Lithwaite and will just follow him around the Parabolica. And I will continue to call it Parabolica, even though I know it has a different name now.
It does?
Yeah, it got named after somebody a few years ago.
Oh, okay.
Cannot remember who, which is partly why I'm going to keep calling it Parabolica. Yeah, nicely done there from Slade. Let's see what pace he's got and whether he can come up with something to try and worry Stephen Bull. Because the advantage these guys behind him have is they can sit behind each other if they are running a similar lap time and save a bit of fuel, whereas Stephen Bull has no such help. He is pushing that out of the way all by himself. Because if he gets up to about a 2-second lead, then he's going to be providing zero benefit really to whoever is at the lead of that train. So they would need to keep swapping places if they want to get some of that fuel benefit. So we'll see how they play it, but certainly be interested to see what Slady can do in his Chevrolet. Chevrolet is running quite well at the moment. They're in second, fifth, and sixth. Porsche's leading the way though in first and fourth, with Bull in first and Grosh in fourth. It seems at the moment that the car with the lowest placed lead driver, so to speak, is the Ferrari of Russell Gardner, but there's only 4 Ferraris in the field and 2 of them basically knocked themselves out on lap 1. So not a huge sample set to draw from compared to some of the other cars. Porsches have got a healthy representation. Chevrolet, only the 3 cars, but they're all at the front, which is quite a good showing, and then a few Fords scattered throughout the field as well. As we watch what happened to Jordan Hansen, yeah, goes for a spin as he tries to negotiate a Ascari. So cut back to Jake's. We're going to cut to Travis as a body because he's in a close battle with Gander there. Side by side around Parabolica. Who gets the better drive on start finish straight is going to be the car that wins out in this battle. This will go all the way down to the first corner if they've got off that at a similar velocity. Seems they have, and then behind them, Rondy Gollan is trying to make it a 2-for-1 deal if he can. Between Azzopardi and Gander, they've now blocked off the straight, so no way through for Gollan. He's going to decided to stick behind Azzopardi, try and go up the inside, and then does so very well. So Gollan gets the position from Gander, following Azzopardi through, who's trying to recover back to his starting position. He's currently 2 spots down from where he started, but he was involved in some of the hijinks on lap 1, I believe. Biggest beneficiaries from that chaos were Alex Zitkas in 10th place. He's up 11 spots. Callan Hodgkinson, who's up 13 spots in 11th, and he's currently on screen. And Eduardo Zamora, who is now currently on screen, who is up 14 spots and is our biggest mover so far. And only 1.5 seconds behind Gander in 14th spot, so he's definitely got potential to improve that, although that is Nathan Michael behind him, so he won't be feeling very safe in 15th right now. He'll want that gap to extend a little bit to Michael before he'll feel safe.
Some pretty close racing up and down the field tonight, and at the moment too, Jack Slade, he's on a bit of a march. He's pulled in about 4/10 on Steve Bull up the front there at the moment. He's currently got the fastest lap. He just went half a tenth faster on that lap than Steve Bull, so probably not getting the best out of the draft just yet. He's young Jake, but he's certainly catching it. Aiden Lithwaite actually pinched the fastest lap from him on that last one with a 44.27. So The draft is certainly working for Luthwaite, and if these guys are clever, they'll actually work together to try and pull Steve Bull back in and get within the draft and make a bit of a race of it, rather than letting him march off into the distance like he did last week. Now, last week actually surprised me a bit. A couple of the guys actually did the race on a tank of fuel. They didn't pit at all, so be interesting to see whether or not that's a thing this week, or whether or not the fuel limits have been changed. So we have a look, see what happened at Sharpie. Pinch rears in the braking zone, big braking zone. Yeah, oh, very much so.
Yeah, it does a smart thing there. Okay, it does ignore the bollards, but does a smart thing to just avoid the braking zone. Just while we're watching that, there was a problem for Rodney Gollan, I believe, who dropped a bunch of positions. I believe it was Gollan. Please forgive me if I was wrong.
No, it was. It's gone off track here.
Driving for sim racing. Yeah, got the rear unsettled on entry. Thankfully, the gravel trap is there to catch him and stop him going into the wall, and then he's got an awkward re-entry from there, so he's going to have to wait for a nice big gap before he can flick that round and get going safely, which he does do very well. So easy to lose the rear end car on entry like that, particularly if you're pushing the brake bias a bit too far back and you're trying to get that bit of extra rotation. And there is a mistake there.
Oh, who was that? That was Aiden, was it? What was that Sharpie again? No, Troy Hollingworth. That was? On board here with Troy. Oh, jeepers, Liam.
Yeah, really ambitious, going for the move and then get out of shape on entry, and there's just a touch with the McLaren there. Wait, that can't be McLaren. The Ford got caught up by the orange. I see papaya in my mind. Immediately goes to McLaren. Interestingly, Brandon Grosh actually got the fastest lap there, so you can see the benefit of the Taru pulling around to 44.1. A spectacular lap from him. Only 3 drivers in the 44.2s or below, and that is Slade, Luthwaite, and Grosh. And that gap to Stephen Ball has come down a little bit more, down to 1.2 seconds, the lowest it's been since the opening phase of this race. And the good news is Slade isn't leaving Luthwaite for dead either, although there was definitely a mistake for him on the lap, because the last lap was a 45.2. So he was a second slow on that lap, and that has accounted for most of the gap. So you can see Brendan Grosh now really pushing him along, and these 3 are at risk of becoming detached in that battle for the victory of this race, unless they can do something to close that gap to Slade, because the gap has grown and the difference in pace is noticeable now. And all race there has been a difference in pace between these top 5 and the rest of the field. Most of the rest of the field have been running 45s and often mid or high 45s, dipping into 46s, 47s, compared to this group that has been consistently in the 44s. And there's Glasspool getting it all wrong.
Oh, bit too much curb on the exit. Yeah,
and that would have been really painful for him. So who's this?
I did see Gander. I think he might have had damage, because he had the black flag against, not the black flag, the mechanical flag next to his name there a lap or so ago. So that's necessitated a trip through for him. He's obviously picked up damage somewhere as this battle rages on. Brandon Grosh, Luthwaite, and Jeffrey Adams.
I mean, look, you say to me in this race somebody's got damage, I'm inclined to believe you, because I think the odds are definitely in that favour. Look how aggressive they are on the curbs on the entry and the exit of Ascari. Really monstering those yellow curbs. These cars are able to handle that quite nicely, not upsetting the balance at all, really. And you can see Luthwaite is used that to get a really good run on Grosh here. He's not going to make a move into Parabolica. That's generally not the smartest thing to do. Generally better off staying behind like he is, making sure you're well positioned to get that slipstream onto the really long start finish straight, and then make a move down into T1. And Jeff Adams also within striking distance, only 2 tenths behind Luthwaite. So we could be about to go 3 wide into the first corner. Let's see if they're a bit more sensible than that. Indeed they are. They all brake on the left-hand side. No moves ongoing. They're prioritizing trying to catch Slady ahead, but he has continued to extend that gap with a stunning 43.8 on the last lap. Believe there was an off-track in that because it's not counted as the best lap, but unofficially that is the fastest lap of the race that I have seen, and he has now got that gap down to Stephen Bull to 0.8 seconds. So this is game on for the lead of this race, and that is one of your closest battles on track. You got these two fighting, Grosh, Lithway, Adams all fighting for P3, and then you got Rollo chasing down Golan for P16. Other than that, gaps 1.5 seconds or above for the most part up and down this field.
Sorry to the viewers, I may have had the chat turned off there, so we missed a bit of chat. Chase Pack don't need to chat. Ball, they have shorter pit stops to get in the draft that way. Yeah, true. And that's if they need pit stops. So like I say, last week the front few guys didn't actually need to pit at all. So yeah, like I said, it'd be interesting to see whether or not they actually adjusted the fuel level. I'm not sure whether that is the case or not, but I'm sure we'll find out as the race goes on. Back up to the front here, Ross Luthwaite and Jeff Adams. This is resuming.
Yeah, that's definitely an opportunity for them in the pit stop phase to try and make up some missed time. I'm going off what I've seen previously with Stephen Bull, which is genuinely, we've talked about that, and then Stephen Bull's pulled further ahead in the pit stop phase. So I'm cautious to put too much hope on that, but I hope you're right, because I would love to see a 5-car fight for the lead. And it's certainly not out of the question at this point with them only 3.5 seconds back. That is easily made up through pit strategy if these guys are saving any fuel. But they have been in quite an intense battle for a large part of this race, so it would depend who's been sat behind other cars and who has not. As Jake Slade now officially puts a 143 on the board, a 43.7, and Stephen Bull responds with his first 43 of the race, a 43.9. So the pace hotting up at the front, and they are quickly dropping this pack. That gap now up to 4 seconds.
Whoa!
As we...
Whoa! Stephen Bull, what are you doing, son? We just caught that as it happened. We'll go back and have a look. Once this thing settles down, stop doing that, thank you. Here we go. Let's have a look at that one from the drone. I think he's just got in. He's been put under... Yeah, he's pinched a brake on the way in. It's got him out of whack. Yeah, got the shakes up, and the pressure from Jack Slade's got to him, and off he goes.
Yeah, we said he did his first 43.9 on the last lap. As was definitely deliberately upping his pace to try and keep Slade out of that sort of 1 second mark, keep him comfortably behind, and just the mistake came. Had to happen at some point in the season. So he's fine there. Oh, there's too much acceleration, too greedy on the throttle.
He was a bit unsettled on the way in, so whether or not him responding to Jake's pace, he's actually pushed the tyres, because the guys have got a new tyre package. So whether or not these tyres aren't as amenable to being pushed, and something like Jake's obviously pushing Stephen like he hasn't had for like the majority of the season, maybe he's pushed the tyres just outside that window, and as he's throttled up, it's just given a snap. So, I mean, I'm sure he'll be in after the race. We'll be able to ask him, and you're right, that's probably his first mistake of the season. So, other than if you take Adelaide out of the context of the conversation, I guess. Oh, he's done the same thing. Andrew Neil. Exact same thing as what Neely did. Yep, see, throttled up in the same spot, same result.
Easy to do, there's a lot of time there.
Yeah.
A lot of time there. If you can get earlier on the throttle and come out with greater exit speed, you're just gaining free time all the way down the straight. So they've got to be aggressive there, and it's with the power of these cars, it's very easy to get that wrong. So I'm not surprised we've seen a copycat crash in quick succession. Let's have a look at what's happened here to Troy Hollingworth.
Oh, got out of control under the brakes.
Oh, hang on, what's happened with the Bailey Ladders car there? Can we have a look and see if they were involved? Because they've also got off track. Is there a better angle of that?
Who was that? Oh, yeah, no, he's nowhere near him.
Right, so yeah, Troy Hollingworth was really close to the car ahead. Looks like it just unsettled him on the brakes. And he locked a brake and then went off, and then the Bailey Ladders vehicle had a sympathy lock-up trying to avoid him.
A four-way battle now. Jeff Adams has got onto the tail of this, so he's right under Stephen Bull's rear wing. It'll be an interesting battle for the bottom couple of steps on the podium tonight. Yeah,
well, I mean, this group, as we said before, they're definitely not out of the battle for the win. We don't know how it's going to go with the pit stop phase. Jake Slade has been putting out really fast laps and doing so largely by himself for the last, what, probably 5-6 laps. So I don't know what the fuel spend is going to be like for all of these guys. Whether there's something they can do there. But at the moment, Slade seems to have the pace to keep these guys ahead and keep pushing out that advantage. It has just dropped down a little bit. So I wonder if there was a small mistake for Slade, but he'll pull that back as we approach the halfway mark of this one.
Oh, that glorious sound of the RSR is great, isn't it?
It is glorious, I agree. Further down in the battle pack, live battles are in the battle for 10th, with Callum Hodgkinson trying to take David Hayne for 10th place. So we just cut over to that because the gap has diminished to below 0.2 of a second as they approach Parabolica. So we'll stick with, although saying that, I say we'll stick with these. Stephen Ball's just leaped back up into 2nd place. So there's some fighting.
Yeah. Oh.
And he did so by cutting the opening chicane.
Every time we go away from this lead pack, it's all on. A lot of moving around there. Ooh.
You just got those outside tyres on the grass, didn't have the stopping power as expected, and had to take to the runoff. So yeah, definitely running the Need for Speed livery. And he's on the goal. He's on the track to get low with his finishing position.
To be fair, it's probably been the best race that we've had nearly all season. Like it, yeah, got a couple of battle packs. Liam Haycock, he'd be disappointed right now though. He that pace the last couple of weeks, and he's just in no man's land at the moment. So, yeah, the young New Zealander, he's just out there basically doing practice laps at the moment. But only had the M3 GTR engine sound. Yep.
Yeah, it's a shame because we can never have the alternate reality, but it would be really good to see what Haycock could have done in the Chevrolet. The Chevrolet is leading this race. Haycock is the top Ford, so you do wonder if that is hurting him a little bit, and the Ford might not be the car to have around here. Seems like almost any other vehicle except the Ferrari is a vehicle to have around here based on the evidence that we have got. It is incomplete, but that is what we can see. So at the moment, in that battle for the last two of the podium spots, these are your two leaders. It is Grosch and Lufweit, and they've just gapped Adams to the tune of about a second, and with that mistake, Stephen Bull about a second behind Adams. So this battle pack is in danger of spreading out a little bit. If they're not careful, you do not want to fall out of the draft around here. So it's really important that nobody loses any more time than they've already lost, otherwise it could be really hard to try and close that gap. But the good news for them is that between them they've got a gap of 11.2 seconds to Smitke in 6th, so they are plenty safe from behind, even if one of them was to make a larger error, as long as there was no car damage. Just going back to what I was saying with the other battles, I mentioned there was the battle between Hodgkinson and Hayne for 10th. There's also a battle between Paul Wood and Adam Lavis that has been very close for the last few laps. That is for 12th place at the moment.
Adam's sporting a broken nose from that little lap 1 incident he had.
Certainly is, and the fact that he hasn't pitted yet tells me that either it's not affecting him at all, or he thinks he can get to the end without a stop. Because if you thought the damage was affecting you, you would have stopped now. If you felt that you needed a stop to get to the end anyway, you probably stopped at the first point where you felt you could get home, and as we're over halfway, theoretically, that means you could get home for sure. So that tells me that he thinks he can get home without any pit stops. And if he's doing that, then I suspect most of the field will be. This is Rodney Gollan. He's 12 seconds back from Paul Wood and 9 seconds ahead of Josh Juno, so having a very lonely race right now. Josh Juno is back up to 15th, recovering from being involved in that lap 1, turn 2 incident. So he's having a relatively decent race on his return to racing. Of course, he's been very busy behind the scenes as Club Presidente. But good to see him back with 4 wheels beneath him. And a throttle pedal. Not so much a brake, you can leave that at home. And here we're watching Nathan Michael. He is trying to pressure Eduardo Zamora to steal 16th spot in his Whiskey Business Racing entry.
Colin Hanson on his way out of the pits, Ed Rollo. So Neil's down 1 spot in 21st after that big off he had a few laps back. We've lost Harris, Sharp. Have we? Oh no, here he is.
Yeah, I mean, we've lost quite a few drivers at this point, so we had a few that didn't start. We've lost Adam Proctor, we've lost Shane Mowing, we've lost Pete Matson, we've lost James Glasspool, and we have lost Troy Hollingworth. Nick Wood is the last of your runners at the moment in 24th spot, and I believe 29 took to the grid. And of those that have pitted, Eduardo Zamora is the lead car. So those cars 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, if the rest of the field does need to pit, you're going to see them jump up further up the order. However, we're not sure whether that is the case at this point. Just if we could cut to... No, let's leave it here. Let's leave it here. I was going to say the Zitkas in 10th place has caught David Hayne, and they're in the battle for 9th place now, but this is probably the closer battle at this point, as 4 cars rather than 2.
Yeah, Steve Bull had a pretty good lap, so he's got 2 moves done in very short succession. So he got this pass done on Jeff so the 2 guys in front of him have made a mistake. Both Jeff Adams and Brandon Grosh have. I was wondering how Bull got back up to 3rd so quick. But Jeffrey and Brandon both made the exact same mistake, same corner, same lap, and that's got Steve back up into the fight for 2nd and 3rd on the podium in that battle.
Yeah, both making that mistake at the second Lesmo, and anybody who has driven this track on any racing game, even the old F1 95, will tell you how easy it is to make a mistake at the second Lesmo and go wide. And those that are slightly better racers will tell you again how crucial every corner is around here for lap time, because almost every corner is followed by a long straight, and that's where you gain the most time. So every corner you have to optimize the exit. You cannot afford to leave a margin at the second Lesmo, and when you do not leave a margin every so often, you're going to find yourself traveling across the gravel. And this is Stephen Bull taking a side-by-side with Aiden Lufway into Ascari, and he has to bail and cut the chicane. It was a really ambitious maneuver to try and go side-by-side through Ascari, particularly when you're on the outside. I mean, I doff thy hat for giving it an attempt, but Stephen Bull pretty quick to realise that wasn't going to happen, particularly with a lot of the detritus gravel that was around that area, deciding discretion is the better part of valor, and cutting the chicane. But that has invited attacks from Grosh and Bull.
Adams.
And Adams, yes, apologies. Now they're going through Scary once again. Oh, sorry, that wasn't Mascara, was it then? Where the overtake was? It must have been
Lesmo.
No, it was the other chicane. Yeah, anyway. Here we go. So this is Adams at the back of this pack, but he is only 3/10 behind Stephen Bull, who's been a bit up and down recently, hasn't he? Very unusual race for Stephen Bull. I bet he's having a lot of fun though.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's either out on his own and lonely, or he's in a battle pack like this where he's up and down like a bit of a yo-yo tonight. He is. So, tell you what, if he does manage to get second, because Jake Slade, mate, he has done a number on the field tonight. He's 7 seconds out to the good at the moment, so he's definitely got a handle on this new tyre package. He's I don't think he's going to be trouble much between now and the end of the race, so long as he keeps... Oh, a little bit tighter than that, Jake. Just keep it on the island, son, and you'll get it done. So, but yeah, so he's doing a great job. But Steve Bull, he's he's really having to work for it tonight. So I'm sure he'll be in and around here somewhere by the end of the night. Where we don't know. He's been second, fourth, fifth, fourth, second. Yeah, he. Yeah, probably just needs to maybe just calm a little bit and the result will come to him. We know how capable he is, so...
Yeah, he's got bucket loads of pace, hasn't he?
Oh,
bucket loads of pace.
Yeah.
And he's got plenty of time to make positions before the end of this one. And yeah, Jake Slade driving fantastically.
He is.
Out front, 7 seconds ahead of his nearest competitor. He's well and truly safe from any sort of pit stop shenanigans other than him pitting and everyone behind him not pitting. We have had a couple more drivers pit, so as a party and both pit on the last lap, and Jake Slade brings it in, so he cannot get to the end, and that is Brendan Grosh as well as Jeff Adams all bringing it in. And Liftweight and Stephen Bull, however, continue around.
Will Jeffrey have a invoice for that? That looked like he came in really, really late then. We might actually have a look at that one. Go drone. Here's Jeff. Oh, god damn. Oh, no, he was clean. It looked really, really late for him to be diving for the pits.
Got to slow down as well. Impressive pit entry there for Jeff Adams as we watch Zidkas become the latest driver to come to pit lane. So now it's about 50-50 of the drivers that have pitted and those that have not. As Leafway and Stephen Bull do battle now for the lead of the race. And that's a mistake. Leafway gets one on the exit of the second Lesmo, and that's going to invite Stephen Bull past. Gets the move done far before they reach Ascari. What can Leafweight do to try and fight back? Just push too hard on the exit there and invited the overtake from Stephen Bull. He's got a few positions there by just keeping it clean and letting the car ahead do all the hard work of trying to handle themselves on a surface with much less grip.
Got some breaking news for you. Slady, what have you done, old son? Locked rears, yep. Oh no, Jake. Oh, I tell you what.
I'll be glad he had that 7-second buffer because he's eating into that quite a bit there. Doesn't that make this interesting though? Doesn't that make this interesting? We have got 11.5 minutes left. We do not know if it's possible to get to the end without a pit stop. Jake Slade has just made a rather large mistake, which would have cost him a bunch of that 7-second buffer they had before. So if there are pit stops to come for Bull and Liftweight, we do not know whether they'll come out in relation to Slade. And Liftweight has made a mistake unlocking and unleashing Stephen Bull back into the lead, back into clean air where he can run his pace, so we can see what he has got in the tank. He may yet be able to pull a victory from the jaws of defeat if he's got the stuff.
It'll be a race for the ages for him if he does it, because he made his own little mistake early, and fought his way back into the battle, and yeah, Jake. Look, like you say, he had a 7-second buffer, so that's either going to bring him back to the pack, or these two guys are going to have enough fuel to get home, and they're just going to be nice and clear. So it'll be interesting to see. Looks like Andrew Neal's had another bit of an oopsie down at the first chicane. Oh.
How many people are we going to see just seemingly lock the rears under braking?
Yeah.
Really unusual to see so many drivers doing that. That must be a bit of a quirk of the new handling model, because the rear stability under braking has not been there up and down the field. And I cannot remember a race where I've seen so many different drivers make that mistake. You always get one or two that perhaps push the bias a little bit too hard, but to see so many drivers doing it is quite interesting. And Stephen Bull and Lufway have pitted, as has Liam Haycock. Matt Smitke becomes the lead driver not to have pitted. He has stayed out as far as I can tell. Now we wait and see where Bull and Lufway will come out in relation to Slady. And they are ahead. I believe they're ahead. Slady has got Lufway.
Oh, no.
There they are, into the first corner. Slade off. So trying to go around the outside of Lufway, it looked like. We'll have to watch that again. And finds himself instead behind. How costly was that mistake for Slade? It has cost him first place. It's relegated him all the way down to 6th, effectively. The original mistake, I mean, where he lost it by himself. So this is Slade. Yeah. Tries to go around outside. He thought he'd cleared him. Thought he'd cleared Lufway. Hadn't quite. And there was front to rear contact there, and it sent Slade off. I don't think the stewards will have much to say about that. It looked more like Slade just thinking he was clear and not quite being clear. What that means is Matt Smitke leads this race but has not pitted. Stephen Bull is in first, and he's got 2 seconds on Lufway now. So he's gained a bit of time through the pit stop sequence.
Now,
what have you got, Smitke? He's the only driver not to have pitted, which does not fill me with hope.
No.
For him getting to the end, I believe he will have to pit. And Stephen Bull has recovered from his earlier mishap to retake the lead of this race. And there is confirmation with Smitke diving into pit lane.
So what this has done now, Steve Bull back out in the lead to the tune of 2.5 seconds over Aiden Lufway. That little skirmish with Jake and Aiden at turn at the first chicane there's given Steve a bit of a reprieve to get on with the job without any sort of hindrance. So yeah, Jake's got it all to do now to get himself back on the podium. He's got 3 positions to make up if he wants it to happen. 2 positions, sorry.
Quite good driving there from Lufway to set himself up with a better run out of the chicane. Looked like he did enough not to get caught up too much on the rear bumper of Grosh on the exit, which is often what happens when you try to get a bit of an up and under. They can't make use of it though to get past. Grosh defends into the first chicane, and they stay as they are. This is the battle for second place. Only 6.5 minutes to go, 7.5 minutes to go. And he is practically pushing him around this racetrack. How will Grosh handle the pressure? We've seen mistakes from all of these drivers up front at one point or another. I think any of these 5 could have won this race. Slade with the best opportunity of all of them, but finds himself down in 5th, and he is trying to reclaim 4th place from the fellow Chevrolet of Jeff Adams. Now Lufway launches one into the entry to Parabolica. The key will be, can he do that and also get a decent enough exit speed? Brendan Grosh almost trips over in mid-corner. Such is the difference in speed at that point, and Grosh is going to pull alongside and surely ahead long before they get to the chicane, and indeed does.
Like...
Will Lufway immediately fight back? Got to try and go side by side. Tests the braking area. Does this so very, very well. Yeah, really nice move there from Luthwaite to reclaim second place.
It looked like Aiden just throttled up and had a bit of a wiggle on power at Parabolica, which allowed Brandon to get the overlap. But yeah, the braking zone duel just certainly went the way of Aiden. As Jake's all over the back of Jeffrey here.
So they're approaching the chicane. Stays behind him. You would suspect, based on the evidence, what we've seen so far, Leslie does have pace advantage out of the two of them.
Battle pack here, but yeah, we'll get on to this one. So Jake's all over him. He just hasn't, you know, I mean, these cars are going to be very, very similar for pace, which will make it very, very difficult. Well, obviously in fresh air, Jake's got the absolute pace, but he's got to pass him.
Yeah, he's got a good run there through Scary. Certainly set up to make a move into Parabolica if he so desires. It's not always the best idea, particularly if they pinch you a little bit on the inside, really compromise your entry. But he's been left plenty of space there. Gonna try the up and under, not gonna work, has to sit behind him there. But we'll get the slipstream all the way down to turn one. Pulls to the inside. Slade pacing his car in the middle of the track. And decides better of it, so that is position one for Slade over Adams. I think Adams has decided, you know what, maybe I'll just stick behind you. See if we can't catch the group ahead. They've got 4 seconds and only a few minutes to go, so that seems unlikely. If I was Adams, I think I would have fought that a little bit harder. Really, really close racing there between Haycock and Smitke in the battle for what has effectively become best of the rest. The Haycock really defensive there, shaping up early for the inside, leaves cars a bit from the outside. For Smitke, really good racing. Oh, gets these outside wheels on the gravel, but manages to get the power down without sending it around for a spin. Let's see how they navigate the Lesmos. Perfect there from the duo. Behind them, this is the battle for 8th place. Adam Lavis, the current holder, in his iconic Castrol Bailey Ladders entry. He's got Azapati pressuring from behind for Whiskey Business. Two of the most prolific clubs in the GSRC. It's always good when you see these guys fighting.
You know, they'll be giving it to each other in the Discord right about now. It's Alex Duckus and Nathan Michael.
To battle for 12th position. Really good exit there from Sikas. Definitely got the run on Michael. Not going to do anything with it on the run down to Parabolica though. You can see him pretty much lift out the throttle a little bit there. Just the side stay behind. He'd rather have the move to turn one, which I do think is the smarter play. You've got to see JMR represented here and DPR. Seems like we have a ever increasing amount of clubs being represented in the GSRC, which is lovely to see. Out front, Bull has continued to grow the gap, to lift weight that gap now out to 4.2 seconds. So Bull has got this one all but wrapped up as long as he doesn't make another mistake. But Luthwaite has not got second wrapped up because he's just made a mistake at the second Lesmo and invited Brandon Grosh to steal second place back from him. So this is a fight that will run all the way to the checkered flag. See how they... Yeah, they navigate Scary nicely.
What a curve from Luthwaite. You can see the difference between the confidence levels on the curves between the Porsche and the Beamer cars there. Groshy went and he's like, I'm having nothing to do with them curves. And Aiden just jumped straight over the top of him and was, oh, jeepers, Aiden.
Got all out of shape. in the mid corner at Parabolica. What you saw on the entry, he got a little bit out of shape. Looked like he almost thought he was going to hit the back of Grosh and dove to the inside. It did not look like an overtaking attempt. It looked like a precautionary maneuver in case there was a bit of overlap there. There was not, but he was tucked right under Grosh's rear ring and then had a moment of oversteer midway through the corner. I can't help but feel the two might have been related. Justin settled him a little, changed the car dynamics a little, and just did not have the car loaded as he wanted through there.
Sharpie's had enough.
I think what that might have been is maybe one too many off tracks and getting himself a drive through and then deciding to throw it in, because I'm seeing a lot of off tracks against a lot of drivers. Now the numbers that I get aren't accurate, so I don't tend to report on them very often, but it is indicative that some people might be running close to the instant point limit. As we watched the green machines duke it out. Ford versus Ford. And Lavis holds on for now. Now we just ticked to 45 minutes, so I do declare that this will be the last lap of the race. Just trying to spot where Stephen Bull is on track. Stephen Bull's just going around Parabolica. Can we watch him for now? I believe when he crosses the line, that'll be the end of the race. Stephen Bull takes a fantastic victory. We looked like he had it wrapped up, made a mistake, had to fight through back and then gain time in the pit sequence and returned to the top step. Fantastic race, Stephen Bull. Brandon Grosh takes a really well-deserved second, a really tight fight all race long. Luthwaite losing it in the dying moments. Jake Slade looked for a while like he was going to be the victory. At one point had a 7-second lead, then made a mistake after his pit stop, which invited the others back to the game, and they locked him out of the podium positions, with Jeff Adams, the last car involved in that 5-car tussle, in 5th again. More on the table there, just didn't quite work out for him. Liam Haycock finishes best of the rest in 6th with a relatively late maneuver on Matt Smitke, who had that position for a long time. Adam Lavis recovered after an early incident to finish in 8th as a party, or finished in 9th. I think everyone else basically was recoveries from some sort of early incident. And Eduardo Zamora was the last car in the top 10 and our biggest mover, up 19 spots from where he qualified, 29th into 10th.
Okay, our last finishers, Josh Wiener and John Harrison.
And we're already being joined in the booth by the protagonists of this race. So we'll cross first to our race winner, Stephen Bull. Stephen, made it a bit harder for yourself this time, didn't you?
Yeah, that was definitely the hardest one so far. The guys, they didn't give me an inch in this one, and new car, everyone's adjusting to it. There was mistakes up and down, and great race all in all.
Yeah, it was a really, really entertaining race. At the point you made a mistake, you had Jake Slade starting to catch you from behind a few tenths a lap. Did that play a factor into it? Were you trying to up your pace and response, or were they unrelated?
Yeah, I was absolutely flat out 100% full push the whole way. So he definitely had some pace on me. I was sort of just hoping that when he caught me, maybe there was going to be a bit of aero wash that slowed him down a little bit, which is a bit wishful thinking for Monza. And then coming through Ascari on one lap where the racing line had been mostly clean and it was just absolutely covered in marbles. And I tried lifting off a little bit, but I'd already gone a touch deep on entry, a little offline, and the car just felt like it was on ice. And I'm just glad I kept that one out of the wall and kept it moving.
Yeah, and then after that, how intense was that 4-car battle between yourself, Lufrate, Grosh, and Adams, and how enjoyable was that?
Oh, that was amazing. Yeah, props to the guys. That was a fantastic battle, and everyone kept their nose clean. And I don't think we had any touches. I did see there was an incident a little bit ahead of me at one point. I don't quite know what happened there. But yeah, awesome battle all around there. That's going to be up there with the Super Formula Lights for me.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Congratulations once again on your victory. It helps you extend your lead at the top of the championship. And good luck for next week.
Thank you.
Oh, we're cutting over now to Brandon Grosh, who finished in second place. Really hard for second place, Brandon. Congratulations, really well deserved. Just talk us through some of the key moments in that four-way battle.
That was a long, tough race. Felt like I did a 90-minute race there, not 45. But no, it was good. I was just trying to keep my nose clean, keep my distance to Liam Haycock. I didn't really care too much about Stephen Poole because he's too quick for me. But yeah, I was just trying to keep my nose clean. Don't know really what moments there were besides me going off track and Aiden having a little moment at the end.
Yeah, how surprised were you to see Aiden had that moment? And how much did your eyes light up knowing that meant that was going to be second place for you?
I was actually pretty surprised. I was expecting another run down into T1 from him, but I was very delighted when I seen that happen. It just let me settle down and calm down on that last lap for a bit.
And I know it's a low downforce setting around here, so it might be a little bit harder to compare, but how are you finding the changes to the GTE cars?
I haven't done a whole lot yet in terms of driving them. I've barely touched the sim at all this week, but tonight was pretty good. I quite enjoy them still. They just, I don't know, it's too early to tell for me.
That's a very, very sensible answer. Well, look, best of luck for your racing for the rest of the week. Best of luck for next week, and congratulations again on your second place.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, everyone in the race.
Thank you very much. We're calling over now to Liam Haycock. Liam, we've styled you as sort of best of the rest as the first car after that sort of lead pack of 5. We're just seeing you going for a bit of a spin there. How was that race for you? Oh, we can't hear you.
Yeah,
At least I can't hear you.
Oh, he just got onto the grass and he wobbled out. Yeah, get your push to talk cranked up there, Liam.
Well, while we wait for Liam to sort out technical issues, we will cross to Travis. Travis, first question for you is actually more in your role as series runner. How good is it to see these numbers again?
Oh, thanks, Liam. Yeah, I'm honestly really happy with the turnout tonight. I knew that the, new tyre model and when the car's got a bit of a fresh coat of paint, that it would bring back some numbers, which is really nice to see. And a lot of WBR boys were in there tonight. In the past few weeks, we haven't had a chance to race properly, but no, it's actually been great. I'm actually really enjoying this new tyre model. It's actually the first time I've actually driven the car, so it's nice to also see the Ford GT have a bit of love. It's actually not dead slow down the straight anymore, which is nice.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear that. We'd love to see the little Ford that could get a bit of love. Okay, now back to the race. How was your race? Were you involved in some of the lap 1 shenanigans, I believe?
Oh, my only shenanigans was myself. Like I said, I haven't actually driven these cars, so there was a moment through the S's where I sort of just sent her a bit too hard, but after about 10, 12 laps, I want to say, I really started to feel like I could lean on the trail braking. I could try and push the car a bit early on corner exit. And no, I had actually a pretty straightforward race besides my little half spin in the S's, I think on lap 3 or lap 4. And then at the end, Mav and I swapped positions probably about 4 times or so in the last 3 laps. And he pinched me at the last bit. So no, it was an awesome race for sure. Cannot complain at all.
Really glad to hear that. That's absolutely fantastic. So with that, and you saying that you're you're quite a fan of the new tyre model. Does that make you more keen for Phillip Island next week?
Oh, absolutely. Phillip Island is like my favorite racetrack, I want to say, in iRacing. So I'm really excited to see. It is another, kind of a low downforce setup. So it's going to be something really interesting to see how it pans out. But I'm thinking about, maybe a sprinkle of wets or something next week. We'll see how we go.
Please.
But kind of want to see what these cars are like in the wets. I won't drown them, but I'm thinking of just putting a bit of a sprinkle.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing as well with it being digital is no seagulls will be harmed in the racing at Phillip Island, even if we had wet. So that's
Yeah,
nice.
that's right. Absolutely.
But look, yeah, congratulations. Really good to see, glad to see the series sort of rebound to rude health again for this week. Hopefully that continues for the next 2 rounds, and best of luck with your racing.
Yeah, thanks. I'm excited to see also what the new season, or the next season, I should say, pans out, where if this class stays or we change into something a bit more multi-class orientated, but definitely excited for the future with these tyres, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's fair to say it's breathed a bit of life into Friday night, which is really nice. So yeah, thank you for that, and we'll see you again next week.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to go and do race control for the race, so we'll see how we go.
Enjoy. Right,
Thank you.
Liam, have we got you?
Yes.
Excellent. Love to hear it. Love
Sorry
to hear
about
it.
that.
No, you're all good. You're all good. These things always tend to happen in the commentary booth, so you are by far not the first. As we said, best of the rest. Congratulations on that honour. How hard a race was it to get best of the rest? Because it certainly wasn't straightforward for you.
I'm not too sure about how hard. I was more just having fun because I've always wanted to drive the Ford, but I've never really had an excuse to buy it. Because I got the Chev for Ringmeister back when it was only 1 car at a time instead of car classes. And I've always wanted to drive the Ford, and with Travis's announcement this afternoon that we're free to swap cars with the new update, I just bought it this afternoon and went to see how it went. So it was just great fun. With the car feels a lot more unrefined than the Chev for sure.
Yeah, do you think there would have been a bit more time in the Chev?
Almost definitely, because I'm still getting used to the quirks. I've only had 20 laps of practice, including in this session, but it was good fun, which is all that really matters to me. And I'm just happy I didn't bin it more, but regretful of the incident I had with Mav on lap 1 though, so hopefully that's not too bad.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate. Mav just sort of upsetting the car on the curbs, and I think you were just an innocent bystander in that one. So that was really unlucky when we went and had a look at that. But it meant you had an opportunity to come back for the field, really put the Ford through its paces, and you did a fantastic job to finish as best of the rest. And I'll do my traditional thing. Where are we going to see you finish next week?
I have no idea. See how the Ford goes at Phillip Island.
Well, fingers crossed for you. It's even higher up than it is in this race, and we can get you in that battle for the lead. Until then, best of luck with all your racing, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
Awesome. Can you just bring back up that last graphic for me,
Certainly
Joe?
can.
This is what we've got coming up in the Disruptive Labs GTE series for the rest of the season. Next week, the penultimate round, a 60-minute race at Phillip Island, before we round things off with an endurance-style 90-minute race at Le Mans, the home of endurance racing. Those should be absolute crackers. We just heard from Travis that there might be a sprinkle of water on the Phillip Island circuit where we go racing there next week. So please do tune in for that one, because it should be great fun, regardless of whether there is rain or not. Next up at the GSRC, we have the MtnMen tomorrow night, starting at 8:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, and that is in the BMW M2, based on the spin that we did earlier tonight. Then we kick off next week with the Super Formula Light at the Bend on the West Circuit for sprint racing at 7:45. That is being broadcast live as always. And then we go to Prime Series, the one with the biggest attendance, the one that we've had for many, many seasons now. Monday night, GT3 Racing, sponsored by Waste Options, at the Saxon Ring for their own series of sprint races. Then on Tuesday night, it is not broadcast, it's more of a casual league. We've got the Downforce Legends racing the Radical SR8s at the Saxon Ring. And then we have got the Lotus 79 for a 60-minute race at Magny Cours, a classic F1 circuit. Then on Wednesday, we'll be broadcasting the Aussie Legends around Hungaroring for 2 sprint races, followed by the V8 Supercars sponsored by Trophy AI at the Hungaroring for a single 40-minute race. Then on Thursday, we'll be bringing you the Disruptive Labs GT4 Challenge at Alton Park for a series of sprint races, followed by the Porsche Cup at Nürburgring Gesamtstrecke 24-hour for a 60-minute race. That should be a fantastic car circuit combination, and that will hopefully be broadcasted live. If not, there will be a make-up broadcast. Due to differences in availabilities for our broadcasters and in commentators and such things, this season has been a struggle to always find people to run these things live. But where we don't run them live, we do try to do a make-up broadcast in the week that follows as people become available. Then next week, me and Joe will be back with you to bring you, as promised, 60 minutes around Phillip Island, possibly in the wet.
Hopefully. I really hope it's going to be raining next week. I think rain it throws up that variable, right? You get some guys that are great in the wet, some guys who aren't, some guys that are good in the dry, don't really go that well in the wet, they don't have the confidence. So it can absolutely be a pack shuffler next week. So I'm certainly looking forward to it, especially with the new update to the cars. Like, people don't have that memory bank of information with this car on this tyre and whatnot, and setups going into next week. So it's really thrown a very welcome cat amongst the pigeons, so to speak. So I'm looking forward to a bit of a sprinkle down there at Phillip Island. You collectively known as the gateway to hypothermia, so it should be great fun, as Zach would name the place. But I'm certainly looking forward to them getting down there next week. Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. And before we go and leave you to your own devices for the weekend, we'd like to thank all of the club sponsors that make these broadcasts, that make the live race control, that make everything around this club function. We would not be here putting on so many races a week without all of your support. So big thank you to Disruptive Labs, our title sponsor. A big thank you to Flash Graphics, who've been a sponsor for many seasons now. A big thank you to Waste Options. They are also a long-term sponsor. Big thank you to Trophy AI. They've been sponsoring the Supercars for a few seasons now. And because then we're able to offer some Trophy AI subscriptions as some prizes, which has been a really, really nice addition to what we can offer. And of course, there is the merch store that we run. We not only sell GSRC merch through there, we also can post your own team's merch in the store. So if you would like us to do that, please get in contact with some of the community members. Otherwise, just go to the store, have a look what's there, and get out and about repping the GSRC where you can, now that we are well and truly into motorsport season with the return of the supercars, the return of the MotoGP, the return of the F1, and the return of Speed Series soon. It is all guns blazing. Thank goodness the long dreaded Christmas period of no racing is over, because we are back to having something on almost every weekend, and sometimes a smorgasbord, which is absolutely beautiful. Thank you very much for... Joe, were you going to say something?
I was going to say, and for those people that were a fan of SVG when he was racing in the supercars, please cast your eyes to NASCAR. Don't think that it's randy rubbish, because it's not. The dude is on fire over there. I think he's sitting like 5th or 6th overall. They've only got one road course under their belt, and I think 3 ovals, and the guy's sitting in well inside the top 10. So go Shane. Show them what the southern colonies are made of.
Yeah, he's continuing the tradition of Kiwis going over to America and excelling in motorsport. How they produce so many great drivers, and why they all end up in America, I will never know. But yeah, they must be quite sick at this point of seeing Kiwis and the odd Australian going over and dominating in what's supposed to be American championships. Although he's not quite dominating yet, but he's threatening to, isn't he? Which is a scary prospect so early into his NASCAR career. But yes, thank you very much, everybody, for when are we getting GSR stickers for our sim rigs? Post the question to the committee.
Yeah, we can organise that. You ask for it, we can organise it. We'll I'll stick that one into the committee meeting. No, Josh Cam.
Yes. Josh did message me saying that he was returning to racing and asked me to tell you not to put him on the screen, and I politely ignored that order because I think we should show our president racing when he's racing,
Absolutely.
even if he doesn't want us to. What's life about a little bit?
Whether he wants to or not.
A little rebellion makes life fun, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, look, thank you very much to everybody that's continued watching. Thank you very much if you have got involved in the chat as well. It's been a pleasure bringing you the broadcast tonight. We'll be back next week. Until then, from all of us at the GSRC, good night.